This is the Bay and TV Perspective. I'm Brian Bay.
And I'm Greg Tepe. Welcome to our podcast.
And this week's perspective is on fantasy football, like just in general.
Yes, sir, because it's around the corner and we're already BSing about it while we're eating. So let's talk about it on air.
Figure we give it a little jibber jabber.
Yes. So it's exciting that, not to fully give up on baseball season, but my favorite time of the year, I think it's yours too, is football / also fantasy football.
Yep.
And we just got to talking about it because one of our league's drafts is July 31st, so a week from this Saturday.
Yep, so it's in the window.
Yes, our Dynasty League.
Yep.
So, obviously, got us talking about fantasy football and past leagues and what maybe future ideas. And
yeah, so currently I'm in, 3 leagues.
Okay.
I'm in 3 leagues. One of them that we kind of help run along with Brandon Walters.
Yep.
He was the creator commissioner, and we kind of have co-commissioned a little bit, or advisor to the commissioner, whatever you call us.
Or done all the work. I mean, just kidding.
Done all the work. But so we do that, and then I'm also in one of my old school leagues is Richard's League. With just a bunch of fellas. A lot of them I met via that league, so
right.
I'm not sure where he started. It was before me. I was a fairly early replacement into the league, but not one of the originals.
Yeah.
And then our Dynasty League, which is the one that we just spoke of, that our friend Andy, who you know from MLB Pick'em, Basement Andy, who's now first floor Andy. Something like that.
he's co
Basement Andy.
Basement Andy, yeah.
So either way, Basement Andy. That'll just be his nickname. Probably.
He went to the first floor last week to get something from the fridge, and then apparently went back down with Kevin.
But either way, he's the one that commissions. Him along with Danny, I believe, are the co-commissioners of that.
Yeah.
Co-commissioners / co-creators of the Dynasty. And it's the first time I've been in Dynasty myself.
Same. With that being said, I'm in 3 leagues. 2 of them are the same as you. The one with Brandon and Dynasty. And then I'm in a league with Antoine.
Yes. Yes, who I will never fantasy football with again.
Yeah, we might get into that in this episode, actually. Because there's a backstory.
One of my best friends, but I will never fantasy football with him again.
Yep. Which will be interesting if we did this Legends League, because he's one that I would put in it. Or consider, I should say, because it's the one I talk to frequently. He's one of our best friends. But we can dabble that later, too.
We'll see. He might be number 13 of 12.
I wish you have a contest to see who can get in.
But, so yeah, the Dynasty is the first time I've been. We've been in keepers before.
Yeah.
You know, we ran one that kind of ended our league there. It
was the keeper
situation. But Dynasty seems fun. I always want to try one. I mean, if you guys don't know, it's like where you pick your players and you keep your whole team.
Yep.
Every year. You have rights to your whole team every year. This is our second year. So the first year was a massive draft. It took hours because I don't know how many roster spots we have off the top of my head.
It's up there.
I would have guessed like 20-something.
I would say mid-20s is my guess.
Yeah, something like mid-20s. So
I can't remember now.
And this time of year is when it gets expanded to almost 30, probably high 20s.
30s.
Like 30 or something like that. And because this year will be a 6-round draft.
Yep.
And you'll draft from the rookies / there's free agents, but there are no free agents that you'd
no
really want to draft. I couldn't imagine.
No, but they're there.
Yeah, they are there, but...
I mean, with that being said, if you haven't concurred from Brian's talk, this is the second year of the Dynasty, so there's a lot of still foundation building, and last year especially, like you said, it was a huge draft.
Yeah.
Where this is our first draft post the original year, if you will.
Yeah. So now you actually have your core team, and now you're trying to add in parts.
Right.
You
so
know,
it'd be interesting to do that because we've never done that part yet.
Yeah, it's not giving away much of my draft strategy to say I need running backs.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty well known.
I think everyone knows that.
Yeah, I mean, I need running backs. Now, further down, I might get more strategic, but obviously I need some running backs to help me out. I'm pretty solid, I think, everywhere else.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because we also do a couple individual defensive player spots.
Yeah, that's a first.
Was it linebacker, D-tackle, cornerback, safety? And then this year he added in defensive end?
Yes.
I believe that's the one that he added in. So, yeah, he added that one in. So it's just interesting. It's just something it's hard to get used to. At least I'm a fantasy veteran, so I know how fantasy works in general.
Yeah.
But to add in some of the IDP players is kind of Interesting.
That's the first thing that's new, or one of the newer things for us. I was going to say, because we've actually both started fantasy the same year.
Yes.
We are both new to the game the same year, way back. I mean, we've been doing this for almost 15 years now, I think.
Oh, I guess. At least. Probably longer than that, but yeah. At least 15.
At least 15.
15 sounds right. Somewhere in that vicinity.
Right.
But, yeah, no, I mean, the Dynasty is cool because, like, it's different. You know what I'm saying? You keep everybody's stuff. I think I'm interested in doing this for a long term.
Yeah.
Scenario. I always wanted to do one. I think it's actually better than keepers. I did keepers because I thought it'd be too much for Dynasty.
I don't like keepers anymore.
I don't like keepers anymore. Now that I do Dynasty, I like the idea of keepers where you just keep like 2 players or 5 players. Or
my thing about keepers, the reason why I don't like it is because of the headache that we dealt with as commissioners with it. And I don't know if we necessarily did it right or didn't think it through or whatever. But we tried to, with the keepers, we allowed that you can have a keeper you can only have them for like 2 or 3 years tops or something. But each successive year you keep them. Whatever draft pick you got them in, it increases. And
I think originally we did you could keep them as long as you want it. But if you drafted them in like the 6th round,
that's what it was.
Then it'd move up around each year.
Right.
Go to 5th, 4th, 3rd.
But I think we did it where, like, say you drafted them 6th last year. So this year you lose the 6th, then the following year is the 5th.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion. And I still am kind of, my mind's jello on it, honestly.
That's why I don't like it ultimately. No. It's like, it's too much thinking.
And I thought on paper, like, it was my idea, but it got voted yes by the council. So it wasn't, just me that pushed it through. But my idea was that, because typically when you do keepers, like, when you keep them no matter what, it's your first round pick. But I was like, why should I get penalized for getting a steal? Was my thing,
yes,
because I know one of my picks was Andrew Luck, and I got him pretty late, so I'm like, I want to keep him forever because I got him pretty late.
Yeah.
Why would he was one of my keepers that I would have to then sacrifice
your number one pick?
My number one pick?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was overthinking. Obviously, I think it ended up being kind of overthinking with it. I think it was me trying to make it too dynasty-ish.
Yeah, but I think that's the right way to do it. I think it's weird that you automatically get penalized for your first 2 picks. ESPN has it where you can have keepers, but it's what you just said. It's the first 2 picks.
Yeah, it didn't keep track of it for you. That's what we needed, was something that would keep track of us for us.
Gosh, yes.
I think me trying to keep track, and part of my mistake is I probably did get confused, I'll say. I don't know.
Well, especially when people come at you.
Because I explained it like 17 times, and then I'd get a question, and I'd answer it in a way because it'd be in the moment. So they'd take that as Bible, if you will.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, no, you said this. I'm like, I don't know. I also said the other way for a fact. Like, I said the right way the first time, like, very clearly, and then you guys should read that.
Right.
Was my opinion.
And to the point where they're confusing you. And I don't mean that in a mean way.
No, but it was like, it's almost like the quick talk where, like, all of a sudden I just hand them $30 to walk away from me, and I got nothing out of it. I'm like, here, just take my money. I don't know. Take my wallet. I don't, you win. I don't know.
Yep.
Now I'm so confused I don't remember what I said.
I started getting that way too, as being your assistant, if you will.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even know now. And now I'm starting to get confused with, are we allowed to do this random thing? Because what ended up happening was pre-draft.
Yeah.
And the fantasy fallout of Antoine and Brian. And just so you guys know, like I said, it's just at the fantasy level, which is almost funnier to me. But like that's where it happens. Like, I think Richard was involved. Jocker.
Yeah.
He was trying to make a trade, and it got confusing with the keepers, and then people were getting upset and trying to get clarification and just disagreements. I don't even remember how it went, honestly.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that I know at the base of it, you and Antoine disagreed.
Yeah.
I know there's other disagreements with different camps and whatnot, but that's what, basically, long story short, that's how the league I'm in with Antoine started.
Yeah.
We went ahead and got that one. I remember when that happened, when it first happened, my brother John kept calling you.
Yeah.
And like, don't quit.
Yeah.
I remember all of that. It's funny now because, I mean, we weren't even mad like right after it all happened. Like, that's
no, it was just
thing.
The frustration.
It was in the moment.
Gosh.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming to be a commissioner of the league more than you thought.
It is.
Especially for, I'll say, the aspect of trying to be democratic. And that was where my fault was.
Yeah.
It's like I try to be too democratic and let too many votes and too many voices.
We try to make it your league type thing.
Yeah, I try to make it the players' league, the owners' league, like we all had a say, which that just caused more arguments. I'm like, you know what? Hell with it.
It's better just to say
this is how my league is.
Yep.
This is how we're going to do it. Move on. You know, but I was just trying to make everybody happy to an extent.
Oh yeah, we were
new to it, but I was just trying to be like, wouldn't it be best if we all had some say, like, on how this goes, rather than me just being a dictator? But
the funny thing is, the first league that we did together was a, if you will, dictator. It makes it seem like dictator's not bad in this connotation, because I feel like they're like, do it this. It's just, here's the rules. This is how you do it, and it was fun as hell. I don't know why we went with the route with, well, let's have everyone have a voice.
Again, I think it was one of my ideas where I was like, I think it'd be cool if everybody...
I co-signed it.
Yeah, so I was like, I think if everybody had a voice, it'd be, like, we could, I just feel like everybody could have some happiness with it, rather than...
Right.
Because I was trying to get it to where I could keep everybody. Because I know some people end up quitting leagues.
We didn't want turnover.
Yeah, and a lot of people would quit leagues because of how it's set up.
I think that's what it was, actually. I think we were trying to make everyone happy to the point where they didn't want to quit.
Yeah.
And in reality, it made it worse.
Yeah, because everybody had too much of a voice.
One of the founders quit.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm done with it. I'm not right. And I know you tried to run it for like a year after, didn't you?
Yeah, I ran it for at least a couple, and then I just didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting pulled into another league anyways. I was trying to minimize my leagues.
Yeah, same.
And it ballooned again.
Yeah.
Because,
I prefer to be no more than 2.
Same, but...
And my true preference is 1, really, but that's
but
not feasible just because I have too many friends that I want to play with.
At this point, I know I'm not going to be in 1.
But I think, like, if they're different styles, like, I have a dynasty.
And then the old school.
Like a traditional, And like I said, I'm not into keeper so much anymore.
I will say another headache real quick about being a commissioner that has gotten better because of technology and not so much your Democrat versus dictatorship is collecting money.
Yes, Venmo and...
Yeah, now with Venmo... It's super easy, or any whatever app you want to use. But like pre that, like especially we had guys that don't even live here that are in our league. I think Luke did he mail you a check before?
Yeah,
like way back.
Which I'll say I don't think I ever cashed that check. I think I just paid for him that year.
You're like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I don't think I ever actually cashed it. And by the time I thought about cashing it, I was like, it's been like 6 months. I don't want to like. What if he rebalanced his checkbook?
Right. You just
so that's why I'm pretty sure that I never cashed that check. I mean, it was only like a $20 buy, and it wasn't serious, but it was just
early on it was cheap.
Yeah, but I don't think I ever actually cashed that. I'm sure I have it somewhere still.
If you do, you should frame it. That'd be hilarious. I think we also took forever paying him when he won because of him being not here.
Like, how do you want us to mail this to you or buy a money order? Like,
right.
Yeah, but now with Venmo or Cash App, whichever one you use.
So much easier. Yeah. Especially when we did our we also did a postseason fantasy, which we stole that from Richard.
Yes.
Huge success, though.
Yeah, it was great.
I love it, too. It's fun.
I love doing his until he cut us out of it for whatever reason.
I know, what an ass.
There was no, like, hey, you want to be in this again? It was just gone.
Yeah, what an ass.
Got cut.
You never knew where you stood in that league anyways.
No.
Never update. This league.
Yeah, ours we update.
I update that every game.
Yeah, you really do, though. Like, at least every day.
Yeah, it's definitely at least every day because, one, I enjoy doing it because I'm a nerd. But
if you have time, I know you've done it in between games as well.
Oh, yeah, because I get excited.
Yeah.
I mean, it's playoffs. I'm excited.
Playoffs. It's easier to keep track of, so I do like playoff fantasy a lot.
Yeah, so we have that variation, too, which is fun.
Which I will say I still technically am in a keeper because Richard and Captain Nick's league that I'm in, they kind of co-commission. That is a keeper, but they keep track of it.
And they know the rules, too.
Yeah. And they did steal the... I think eventually we did implement you could only keep them for 2 years or something.
Yeah,
like
I thought
that.
they took an idea from something.
I think that's the idea they took from us and modified it a little bit.
Right. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, because I think eventually we did modify it where you only get them for 2 years and you had to put them back in the pool or something like that.
Yeah, because it's not a dynasty.
No, so there were some just variations of things we did. Like
you live and learn.
In that league we ran, it was something I actually thoroughly enjoyed. Of a rule that I came up with, we kind of manufactured because we had some people wanted PPR and some didn't.
Oh yeah.
So we did a makeshift PPR where it was every 5 receptions with an extra point?
Every 5 receptions, it's 2 points.
It was extra 2 points. So yeah. So you got that fifth one, you got an extra 2 points. So it was like not point per reception, but per 5 you got 2. So kind of like best of both worlds, which I kind of enjoyed that.
That was one of the compromises that came from the Democratic. We had a meeting here. Remember that?
Yeah.
We had all the owners come pre-draft stuff with no draft going on. To vote on things.
Yeah. And I still have all my supplies that I was going to make rule books out of.
Oh yeah,
and hand it out.
You did the draft too one year of the rule book. You printed it out because I had a copy of it, and I should still have it in my office at home.
Yeah, and I was gonna put them all together and hand them out to everybody.
Yeah, I forgot about that because we want to make things clear. We got tired of all this ambiguity. Can't say that word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like all the gray areas. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of different types of leagues, I forgot too. We also have the FanDuel Fantasy League we do.
Oh yeah,
that's fun because it's just a variation.
Yeah, and they just kind of keep track of it, and it's out of our hands.
Yeah,
so
I like
that's
that
what's
too.
nice about it.
And the nice thing about that one is you pick whoever each week, and it's just different. I like the variety. Yeah, we have pick 'em. It's not technically fantasy, but
it's kind of a fantasy.
It's a fantasy thing.
We just pick teams then.
Yep. So we have that. So it's really grown. I thought it was fun. Like. So I want to brag for a second because the very first year I won it all. So I got hooked even more so. But the following year you won it in the same league. Remember that?
And what's that?
Jason's league.
Okay, that fantasy
NFL.com.
league.
I won the first year and then you won it the second year.
Yeah, so
we did the same thing in our league where I won it and you won it.
Yep.
We had the one, maybe it's the one I just said. You beat me in the championship. I went to the championship 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
And it was a kicker duel because
I think it was Jason's league that I beat you in.
Was it?
The NFL.com, I believe, was you went back-to-back years, and I beat you the second one. I believe. I don't know.
Okay, I thought it was ours.
Was it ours? I
thought
don't know.
so.
You might be right.
But I remember too when you used to do power rankings.
Oh,
you pissed me off. I remember waking up and reading it. I'm like, man, you're whack. Yeah. And I went on a 10-game winning streak and won it all.
Which that stemmed from Jason's league because NFL.com was set up the best until they updated.
Oh, man, it was so good.
But it was when you did it on the computer, not really apps. You know what I'm saying? Apps may have been available. We didn't have apps, though.
I didn't have it.
So we were on the computer, and there was a newspaper you could make from, and that's when M. Steele, Marcus, will start talking shit to me.
Marcus Steele.
Yeah, he put an actual bum, because he called me Bay's Bums, and he put an actual bum up, and breaking news, bums,
Yeah, he started the press conference thing, where he acted like he was the press and the coach.
And
so it was like...
that was great. Yeah.
That was the best year for trash talk.
And so I copied that, and we were just talking shit back and forth.
Oh, yeah. You guys turned into a rival all because he offered you some whack trade.
Yeah.
When we were hanging out at B-Dubs, and like, hey, Marcus has texted me. He wants to know if you would trade, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember who it was.
No, I don't.
And you're like... You said something, Brian Bayish. I was
like,
right back to him.
Yeah, I was like, is he fucking crazy? I'm not doing that shit.
And that's how the rivalry started.
I was like, does he even know football or something like that? And you, of course, said it verbatim. And then he's like, who in the fuck is this guy?
Yep. I want to say it was like week 2, too.
Yeah, it was early. Because I never met the guy before.
No.
And it was like week 5 or 6 before we actually met.
Right. And then you got the Bay's Bums. I got excited just to see what he posted, more so than like making my moves and all that jazz.
And then he was he in our league also?
I don't know if he was or not.
I don't think he ever was.
I think we always try to make it happen, and
it never worked out.
Because he's in Antoine's league.
Yeah, which he's talked shit trying to get me to come
into it. Yeah,
I was like, not playing with Antoine.
I would love to see
especially in an Antoine Rand league. Jesus.
Shots
but
fired.
no, that's where we can segue into this Legends League we kind of want to talk about.
Yeah, it was just something that literally, like I said, we were eating and talking about this, and I'm like, that'd be kind of cool because we talk about we're talking about all the leagues that we have been in, are in, how we don't necessarily always know everyone in the leagues that we're in, how it'd be cool, like we've been doing it so long, where we have like obviously you and me and my brother Richard.
Yeah, we basically have the different groups of old school, the John Dunn, Marcus Steeles of the world.
Yeah,
the me and yous, of course, are that's timeless across. But then we have like the Richard, Mark Lawrence, Brandon Walters of the world.
Yep. The newer group of friends, because we've been friends forever. We have the phases.
Yeah, then we have our rando, like kind of outsider, newer friends like your Adam Burns, Andy, the Basement
Fred
Andy,
the
Jimmer, Fred the Beard. Your kind of oddball groups there. Like the people we basically like. So basically talk to a lot. Like. You only know Adam from fantasy.
Yes.
I
couldn't tell if you stand
Fred
in
we
this
see
room.
during the draft when he comes for a draft, things like people we sometimes only see once a year.
Exactly.
So I would like to combine like our top dogs of all those leagues, and even if we had a slot, good old Jason Powell, since he was our original commissioner.
He was our
I wouldn't
shout out
mind,
Jason Powell, our original.
I would not mind throwing him in, OG style. Since he was our OG.
Yeah, he was.
Now, I don't know how we would do this, if it would be because part of me thinks like start a league, but then what if we did like more of a it could be a repeat thing, but it'd be more of a tournament style or like a different style league.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I would say tournament style because it would be an actual season, but you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, something that's different than...
Something a little different, probably heftier. Probably it could even be more than a 12-man, so you'd have to really play with rules.
I think we named more than 12.
Yeah, and just off the top, yeah. So if we could do like... maybe do like a 16-man, like crazy wild, but like maybe then we'd have to make the roster sizes smaller so that you can still have decent players, and it'd be something we'd really have to play with.
Yeah, you have to tweak around with it.
Make it a little different. Make it legendary, obviously if it's a Legends League.
Yeah.
So try to come up with some different rules to make it different. You know, really try to hone in on it. Might be a year in the making. We might want to start looking into it now.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it'd be fun.
And find the right website. Maybe ESPN's not it because that's been our go-to.
Yeah.
Like I said, NFL.com once upon a time, but we haven't used that since we thought it went to shit, but it could be better now.
Yeah.
The Dynasty we're in, we're on Flea Flicker, which I never heard of, but Andy said they use that because it keeps track of what they want to keep track of more, and it like
more
it just helps
customizable.
more customizable. That's what I was looking for. It's more customizable, and it also like had some rules and stuff in place that they want it to have.
Right.
It would keep track of certain things they want it to be kept track of that ESPN wouldn't.
I know you're a big fan of Yahoo too.
Do not like Yahoo. Never have.
Yeah.
I don't know why
we did
they
baseball with that one.
I just feel like I don't know. It's their user interface. It's not like they're anything else really.
At this point, ESPN's nice because it's just an easy app to have.
Yeah, and I'm used to it.
Right.
But Flea Flicker, I'm getting used to, and I didn't mind it. I could tell that it's not as mainstream of an app though.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's got its like bugs, if you will.
Yeah, and it's not as pretty or whatever.
It's not as streamlined.
ESPN's,
but we'd have to figure out a website we would want to use.
Yeah.
Based on probably some rules we want. So we'd probably have to sit down and really write down rules that we each want and really manage it and trying to figure out
how can
like team wise. Because I mean, off the top of my head, just to rattle people off, obviously we're me and you.
Yeah.
We'd want our legends like Marcus.
Yeah.
We'd have to invite him in for the rivalry. Then your brother John.
Yeah.
You would think like Richard,
Brandon, yeah.
So that's 6 right there.
Yeah.
Who else do you think?
Before it was rattling names, but now I'm like trying to thinking like I still say maybe Antoine, but I know you don't.
Just say him. It's fine. Just say him.
Antoine.
He might get cut.
Maybe John Dunn.
So 8 for an old school.
Yeah, for the
then
old
the new
school
would be Adam Burns 9.
Oh, Fred the Beard.
Fred the Beard 10. Andy Jimmer, that's 11, 12.
Yeah.
Did we say Jason Powell again yet?
Nope.
Okay, so that'd be 13 possibly.
School.
If he'd want to be in it, it's just a name.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is obviously contingent.
All invites, yeah. Captain Nick, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
He's a competitor.
Did we say the other Nick? Fake Nick? Nick Tuckfarber?
Oh, fake Nick, maybe. So that'd be 15 there.
Yeah.
Honestly, we probably start thinking some of our previous champions, too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, in our most recent league with Brandon, we've named all our champions already.
Yeah, I was trying to think because I won.
I won
3.
Who else is in your Antoine? Who else is in your Antoine league?
That's what I'm trying to think. Like, especially people that you would know. On top of it, Brad Morrison.
No offense to him, but I mean he's not. Yeah.
No, I get it, but that's
I know him, but I'm just saying
you know him at least.
I don't think he'd be in the legends of like. I don't even think I've done fantasy with him.
Right.
I'm trying to think of people I've done leagues with.
I don't know if there's anyone else then in Antoine's league because there's Marcus.
He's got more his
Dunn.
new school friends, yeah.
And then there's like the ones you already said: Marcus, John Dunn, my brother, me.
Yeah. So people are already in
like that.
So we're at like 15. We could probably find a 16.
There's Young Buck, but
he was old school.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, but I don't even know if I contact him, and that'd be like a third Nick in the damn league. So that'd be all hell breaking loose.
We have a Nick division if we can.
Yeah, all the Nicks just in one. But yeah, something like that. But I bet we could probably get 16.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
we literally just thought of this.
We thought
now,
so.
We
just dropped 15 names, so we don't have to manufacture one person.
Right.
And that's saying everybody would accept. So give you the leeway of maybe it could be a 12-man.
Yeah.
If people don't accept, or we add somebody in,
some people might,
or we might be missing someone I'm not even freaking thinking of right now.
Yeah, because that's the other thing I also wouldn't mind looking. At least in my current ones, there might be one like in Antoine's that I'm forgetting.
Yeah, or even Brandon's. I'm sure we missed.
Right.
Some people,
even though we just ran through before.
I know we just ran through, but I know we didn't.
I know what you mean, though. Yeah, I think it's funny. That's how we're always like, who's in that league?
Yeah, but I think it could be upwards of 16. So 12. It would definitely be at least a 12-man league. Because I bet you we get at least 12 accepts. Yeah. Invite responses. What do you call that? Accepting your invites.
Accepting the invite.
I don't know. I want to call it invite exceptions.
I know.
But,
I'm drawing the blank
accepting
myself.
your said invites.
Yeah.
But
they hit yes RSVP.
Yeah, they RSVP'd for said league. But I bet you we could at least get 12. Especially we made it like it doesn't have to be a year after year thing. It can be a 1 year. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
If we want to do it again and make it, I said we'd have to find a way to make it different. So anybody got any ideas? Let us know.
Yeah.
But that'd be kind of cool to do like a Legends.
And on top of that, it might be where, honestly, if one of my other leagues expires.
Yeah. Like
I'm not trying to add leagues either.
No, I'm not either. But that's why I'm like, yeah. If
I think the
expires.
point of this too is also that it would be nice to be in a league where I know everyone and I have a history of everyone.
Yeah.
And same with you. Like we've competed and
And for me, it's rivalries that are across the board.
Right.
Old school rivalries that I do miss, i.e., your Marcus Steele.
Base bums.
Yeah, like Jason Powell's that I haven't,
Well, technically, I think I can thank Jason Powell for getting me into fantasy football. I'm pretty sure he's the one that physically talked to me and like, hey, I know you love football.
Same with me. I know he did. I was like, I know he invited me in that.
Yeah.
And then I remember it's funny because I ran into Tire God at Tire Discounters. Was it
Is it Matt?
Matt Albert? Yeah, that guy. I was like, it was funny because I was getting my tires and he was like, "You were in fantasy football?"
You're like,
I was like, "Yes, I was."
Which league though? Come on.
Yep. He's the Cowboys fan. That's why I remember. He's the other Cowboys fan. That's why I remember. I think we had that going for us. That's why he remembered, like, the Cowboys connection, if you will.
I wish we can still access that league because one, I want to see
who was all in it.
All
in
in
was
it.
Talking, yeah.
And I want to see all of Marcus's stuff that led into your press conferences and other people basically copycatting. Yeah, that's the other thing. When we created our own league, we wanted that because, like, no offense to the first one, there was a division where we didn't really know the guys, like Jason's crew,
yeah.
So we wanted our own, and we wanted to continue because that's all we knew. We thought the trash talking was going to keep going.
We thought that was natural, because that was year one.
And ESPN does not have a good platform for that. So I don't think we did this year one, but fast forward, like year one of us, I mean.
Yes, running one.
I think a couple years after that, we created a Facebook page.
Which is great.
We can all talk trash and communicate on there. Yeah. It worked out at first, and then just died
off, which I have convinced Andy to do for Dynasty, more for communication's sake than anything. Because I told him, I was like, I don't look at the app enough for that to be communication. And then Messenger,
stuff gets lost.
Like Facebook Messenger was okay, but I don't even really keep the app too often.
Yeah.
So then I have to like re-download it to see if anybody's talking. So I was like, the Facebook page to me is good, especially for regular communication.
Yes.
Because if you try to say like draft on this time in like Messenger, and then all of a sudden somebody starts talking about something, you go off curve. And
they don't even see it.
Yeah, because there'll be 30 missed messages. I'm not reading going back.
Nope,
I didn't know that, and I didn't know that you said something important to begin at all.
Yes, exactly.
So like
the Facebook post, you have it right there.
Yeah, it's there, and if people talk crap under it, or it's still there.
Yep.
So
yes, I do recommend that if anyone's looking for easier communication.
But no, we did start off first with good trash talk because we did, like you said, you did your awards.
Yeah.
I did the power rankings.
Yep.
And
game of the week.
Game of the week, which was a way.
I loved it because you pissed people off, and you knew you were like you were trying, like you were doing it legit, but then at the same time, other people took it butthurt almost sometimes, which was great.
The problem that I had with Game of the Week is I was trying to get them pinned against each other, and a lot of times they team up against me, and I'm like, I'm just a newspaper writer, that's all.
They hate the media.
Well, they'd be like, they come after my team. I'm like, no, this is not owner Brian. This is not Commissioner Brian. This is like reporter Brian trying to get you two to talk shit.
Right.
But you'd end up with the quiet one, so like. Then it got out of hand where like Game of the Weeks were the same 4 or 5 people that might kind of talk shit to each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I mean Game of the Week theoretically is the best 2 teams, which would be, say you're, like a Luke and I don't know who.
And me, I get it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying because you talk shit at least though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you at least. I'm trying to think of 2 quiet people that are.
I see.
Like a Luke and a Fred. They don't know each other. Don't talk a lot.
Trash to each other.
Yeah, maybe they'll talk shit to me because they know me. But, like, besides that.
And I can't blame them because technically if I was put in that boat where I didn't know the guy, I may not either. Where if it kind of circles back to the Legends League, if you knew everyone in it, it's easier to
start talking shit. It's harder to talk shit. And for me, it was like I pretty much knew everybody in the league a little bit. So
you're the central piece.
Yeah, so it is hard, though.
I like the standings better, personally, because we all were involved, so you can get butthurt over, like, man, he's going to put me at 6?
Yeah.
6. Really. I remember John Dunn was clearly the best team one year.
I put him at the
end. Like 13th. We have 12 teams.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll show him. He got so heated.
Damn it, Bay.
Yep, that was fun.
Yep.
That was fun. I liked that.
But there was one year I put you what you thought was too low, and I wasn't even really being a dick. And and you went the fuck off and won the whole damn thing.
The rest of the year.
No. You're like, screw this guy.
So thank you.
Yeah.
That's my second chip, by the way. Thank you.
But no, that was fun to do, but it just didn't get the reactions that I...
Yeah.
We did it first, but it went away, and I tried to keep it fresh, but it was just...
It's kind of the bad thing about us, because I'm guilty with you on that. We're trying to orchestrate the trash talk when it should come organic.
Yeah.
And Marcus was just so good at it because you didn't know him. No. So it was unique that a stranger, if you will, or at the time a stranger, came at you like that.
And you picked the right person because I'm also a trash talker.
Yes.
And so just the stars align. Yeah, the stars align. That probably the two best trash talkers in almost any of the fantasy leagues ever.
And you're proud. You didn't like the fact that he made a song about you.
Yeah. He's like, Bay's bums, they fucking suck.
Yeah, we still remember it to this day.
That's the least part I remember. He was
that's all I remember, too.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like, so, yeah, I'm proud. I like talk shit, too, though. So it's like, the stars definitely aligned for that.
We got spoiled, though, with our first season of fantasy. Honestly.
Because then everybody was talking shit
so we thought that's how it is.
Yeah, because, like, Jason would talk shit to me or you or me to that Matt, guy. And, like, it was all over the place. Yeah, Young Buck. Yeah, like. So, yeah, it was definitely fun. So we definitely got spoiled right up. I'd like to have that trash talk again somehow.
In a weird way, it almost made it more fun the fact that we had it on the computer because I didn't always have it on my like with the phones, we have it always right there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'm going to go home, log in,
see if I said anything. Yeah, because you'd work different times, so you never know when they said something.
Right. That's almost where the downside of having the mobile apps these days.
Yeah, like the instant gratification.
Right.
Yep.
It kind of numbs or waters down the effect.
Or you see it and you forget about it. That's the problem. You don't have that anticipation. You see the Facebook notification. So you go in there and you look at the notification. Oh, that's from fantasy. Okay, I'll look at that later. Then you don't.
Yep.
Because I think that kind of hinders some of the trash talk as well.
Yeah.
Is that maybe it's people that would, but then by the time they really see it, they're like, it's kind of too late now. And I've missed the window to talk shit.
And that's the bad thing of them having it right there, because sometimes they'll see it and they're like, I'm literally working. I mean, I'll get to it in a minute, and then you forget.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
I have myself have done it. So.
So I get that. Like, I'm like, that's the negative, but it is what it is. That's the world we live in. There's definitely positives. I like that.
Yeah.
I can keep track of my fantasy team on a Sunday on my phone. Back then, I guess now I think about it, I guess I would just go check it every so often, like, how am I doing? Okay.
Well, I remember, like, when I was off on the Sundays, I'd have the laptop on my lap.
Yeah.
I'd literally be refreshing, or when I was finally got to 2 leagues, I'd go back and forth.
Yeah.
And just refresh, and yeah.
Oh,
I remember the laptop being on my lap.
Because that first year, like I mentioned, I actually ended up winning it all, but I went in as the 4th seed, so I was the wild card. And going into the last season of our regular season league, I was down like 2 or 3 points, and I just had Mercedes Lewis left. And it was a Monday night game. I needed him to just give me some points to win it. This is the old school side. I didn't have it on my phone. I was at my girlfriend at the time, at her place, and heavy-eyed, of course. I remember her laptop was sitting on the coffee table so I can keep track. Fell asleep, and then woke up later, and I had to look it up. And I'm like, I won! Mm-hmm. So I had that like exciting, like almost Christmas anticipation. Like,
you're like, come on,
where on the flip side, it is nice with the phone because I'm older now and I fall asleep on the couch still. Yeah. I can look at my phone real quick, like, or it is fun. I like tracking all my leagues.
No,
that's where I should say ESPN's app is nice because most of us use ESPN.
Yeah,
I can swipe between my leagues very easily.
Yeah, it's easy.
So I do like that.
There are some good things about it. Now it's funny because I will be at work, and you or someone else, but they'll be like, "What's going on with your team?" And I'm like,
"Which one?
Good or bad?" Good. No, I'm like good or bad usually.
Yeah.
I'm like good or bad. Good or bad? What are you talking about? Like good or bad? And you're like, so I'm like scrambling to look it up because I haven't looked in hours because I'm actually working.
Yeah.
So I'm not keeping track, and I'm like shit. And then I go in there and I'm like, oh, good, I'm up by like 50. That must be what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did it to you last year with Higgins. I'm like,
yeah,
dude, Higgins. And you're like, what? And I'm like
good or bad, dude? And you're like, he's going
excellent.
Off. Yeah. Like, oh, good. And I'm like, I haven't checked. And you're like, dude, Higgins. I'm like, what? Like, did he die or is he like going off?
Part of us like doing that to you and other people on purpose too.
Oh, I'm sure too.
Like, Higgins, and you're like, what about him?
What do you mean Higgins?
Is he hurt?
And then of course I can't get the app to pull up. I'm like, the app's crashing. What is going on?
Dude, remember that happened one year, the first week of the season?
Yeah, the app just crashed.
Yeah, we couldn't check it.
Yeah, no one could get their starters in.
I just forgot.
Yeah, that was the first year ESPN got like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because you notice the first 2 or 3 weeks of the season, it runs slower.
Yes.
You know, especially the first. But then as people stop being into fantasy, their servers loosen up a little bit.
Yeah, when you get the fill-ins from other leagues, if you will.
Yeah, or leagues that fall through, or people to stop paying attention. So
yeah, that was wild because I remember a lot of complaints were happening. Then there's the famous point adjustment.
Oh yeah,
where they mess up and you think you won, then you wake up and realize you tied or you lost. I'm like,
like what the hell do you mean I lost by half a point?
Luckily, I don't think it's ever. I can't recall it ever happening to me directly, but it's happened in our leagues.
Yeah, because I remember as commissioner getting, hey, what happened here?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I didn't adjust it.
And they want
you
to look into it. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, you lost, I guess, man. Shit.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Now, luckily, like, that more people are veteran. It's, we all know there could be those adjustments.
Oh, yeah, that's the nice thing.
When we were first on fantasy, we were like, yeah, I don't freaking know why.
Yeah.
Like, I saw that you had won also, so I don't know why.
Yeah, I need to look into it.
Yeah.
That's the nice thing. We've gotten through all that stuff.
Yeah. So, we're playing with people that understand that a little more.
Right.
At least in the leagues that we help commission.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's been some crazy finishes, too, because I remember recently, like somewhat recently, watching a game with Mark Lawrence at B-Dubs.
Yeah, talking about that one. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, I got the other one in my back pocket. You know which one.
Deshaun, yeah. Okay.
But Mark Lawrence and John Dunn were going at it. And now, help me with this part of my memory. As the game was ending, weren't they tied? And, like, there's no way Mark could gain more points because...
it kept going back and forth the last, 3-4 minutes of the game.
Right.
Monday Night Football. Kind of kept going back and forth, back and forth. Then it got to the point it was tied. And we're like, okay, no more points can be gotten by either team because they're killing the clock.
Victory formation.
So it's over, right?
But who's the quarterback? It's John Dunn's quarterback.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't Deshaun Watson. Who was it?
I don't remember.
Okay. Either way, it was John Dunn's quarterback, and they're killing the clock. Well, apparently, so I guess when you kneel, that counts as a rush.
Yes.
In football. Well, he minus points because of that.
Yes.
So he must
normally when you kneel, you're going backwards. So that's negative yardage.
Yeah, it's a negative 1 yard or 2 yards, whatever it is. But I guess he was at 14, for example.
Yeah.
You know, and you whatever the hell it is. I don't even know how many yards you lose for a kneel, but say
Me neither, but it was enough to
say it's 2 per kneel. You were at 14, then he went to 12, then he went to 10, then he went to minus a point.
Yep, because he went into the next section of pointed.
Yeah, so he went under 10 yards rushing or under 20, whatever it was. Yeah, so he lost a point.
And Mark won by the one.
And I told him, I was like, Mark, you just won. He's like, I was a bullshitter. I still am. And they're like, no, you're full of shit. I was like, dude, I'm dead ass. You just won the game. He's like, how? I'm like, kneels are negative rushes.
Yep.
He just lost a point for negative rushes.
And next thing you know, John Dunn's going off virtually.
Yeah, and Mark's scrambling to get to his phone because he had to look at it on his own phone. Like, I did some sort of witchcraft on my phone. My phone's wrong. Like,
I'm a genius programmer now.
Yeah.
And I will say the funny thing about that too is typically at least the Western Hills B-Dubs where we're at, sometimes it's slow to load inside. So I think it was also slow, and he's like, "Come on!" Like he said, he didn't believe you.
No, but for whatever reason, I'd stuck into the app. I was looking at other stuff, I think, but then when I went back to the main screen, I saw where he was in the lead. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah,
I was like, dude, you just won.
We pieced it together fast enough because we are vets, and we're like.
Oh, the kneeling, yeah.
That's what got him.
Mark's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you just won, dude.
Yeah, that's negative yardage, and he kept doing it.
Because him and Dunn were talking mass shit the whole game, too. So
yes, yep. They kind of had a small rivalry there for a while.
Yeah, they had a little something going on.
Yeah.
So that's why, yeah. And that's, I think, if we ever did go back to kind of the Legends League, we'd have to division it off.
Yeah.
Well.
We've always been pretty good at that, the ones we ran.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yep. But we have to get our rivals and divisions.
Oh, yeah. It makes it fun. It makes it a lot of fun, which reminds me. So, the famous one, real quick, and now you can answer me after I tell the story. So we were all at B-Dubs,
yeah,
and I believe it's when the blackout happened around here. So a lot of us were there.
That sounds right, yeah.
And it was the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Correct.
And young Deshaun Jackson.
Yep.
He caught a long pass, and he had the end zone right in front of him.
Yep.
Got cocky. dropped the ball, half-yard line before
celebrating, went to kind of spike it, but whatever you do. They've done, it's a classic move. It's been done.
It's happened a lot since, too. He went to drop the ball, like, all right, easy touchdown against our rival, the Cowboys. We hate the Cowboys.
Yep.
Pac-Man Jones comes running up to the ball from the Cowboys.
Yep.
And he's like, damn it, we got burned. They scored. Doesn't pick up the ball.
Looks at the ball.
Bends
over, looks at the ball. Thinks he knows what happened.
Right.
He knows what happened. In his heart of hearts, he knows what happened.
But did not pick up the ball.
Did not pick up the ball, runs off. So they don't get the touchdown.
Correct.
But he got the yards.
Correct.
Which was good enough for me to lose.
By how much?
By 1?
Yes. 1 point.
Yeah, because if he'd have picked it up, I would have got 2 points.
And 1 by 1.
And 1 by 1.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the famous. And that was early in our fantasy careers. Now, here's the question.
And that was post me and Marcus talking shit already.
So were you playing Marcus in that game?
I was.
Okay, I thought so, and I
Yes.
couldn't remember for sure.
Yes.
So before
I was playing
it,
Marcus, he had Deshaun. I had the Cowboys defense. So that's where my point would have came to me also.
All you had to do is pick it up for the turnover.
Because not only does he lose the points, but I get the points.
Correct.
So, yeah. So it was like the double whammy.
Correct.
And all he had to do was pick that shit up.
And that was our first. That was my first memory of a wild ass finish.
Yep.
That affected the.
And since they didn't pick it up, he didn't get the fumble loss or the fumble gain.
Correct, because it was a dead ball at that point.
So I don't think I think technically we're wrong on our points a little bit.
Probably, but the legend has it.
Legend has it, yeah.
It was still a bad way to lose.
But yeah, it was that play caused me to lose.
Yes, because I remember that. That's why you're mad at Pac-Man forever. And then we ended up having Pac-Man on the Bengals.
And I always liked Pac-Man.
I know.
I was just like, come on, pick the damn ball up. You knew that it was a fumble.
Right.
You went up to it and looked. You knew. And all you had to do is pick it up just in case.
Right. And he didn't.
Like, just in case, pick it up.
Yeah, why not? What's it going to hurt?
It's not going to hurt for you to pick it up. You're not going to get penalized for picking it up.
The funny thing is,
all you do is pick it up and flip it to the ref. Like, but if you picked it up, it counted.
Yeah. You had possession.
Yeah, you possess it. Just pick it up and flip it to the ref. Be nice.
The funny thing is, you watch football for almost, 3+ decades like I have. We're old. How many times have you seen it where the defense picks it up when it's clearly not a turnover and still try to
just in case
still try to do it?
Yeah, I seen him pick it up and run down the field with it.
Yeah, just in case.
Yep.
Right? Well, on the blatant ones, just look at it like, nah.
Yep. I'm like, damn it.
Yep. So that to me, that was funny, and
that extended the ririvalry.
And besides the funniness, I'm pretty sure it was when the blackout was, which was also fun because we were all there. We had chargers that we were taking turns because B-Dubs had electricity, but most of the neighborhoods around here did not still.
Yeah.
And so that's how we got hot food. That's how we got electricity for our cell phones, which back then you charge it and the charge lasted like 3 days.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you get a good charge out of it and you're gold. It wasn't like
the smartphones now.
Yeah, you had to charge it 18 times.
Right. Which that's actually funny if I'm thinking about that now, that I remember charging it in the last days.
Yeah.
But that's
you bring your charger every once in a while to work, like to charge.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing like to have it in the car or anything.
No.
But now I have all over the place.
Yep.
But that was fun because there was a big group. I still remember we sat at that circular table. Yeah. There's a shit ton of us. We had to squeeze in.
Thankfully for me, Marcus was not there.
Right.
He was out of town, I believe.
Right. Yeah, he was.
So I didn't have to hear it in my face.
Goodness. That would been epic. You two going back and forth and then ending in that way.
Oh man.
I mean, you prefer you being the winner, obviously.
Yeah.
But that would have been.
Does make for a legendary story though.
It makes it more legendary because it was against a new rival you had.
And he didn't pick it up. You know, like it would have still been legendary if my guy picked it up, and I would have been on the. But I feel like it's more legendary because like he should have picked it up and didn't.
Because it's crazier this way.
Yeah, it's crazier. Yeah.
But that's what that means. So that makes what makes fantasy fun too. Is you got these crazy incidents, but it also makes you root for random players, like my Mercedes Lewis example before.
Yeah.
I don't care about Jacksonville tight end.
No.
But in that case, I'll always remember his name because he got me to my first championship.
Yeah, and that's what's good about fantasy, though. You keep track of other teams.
Yes.
You learn the league more.
You not only keep track of them more, but you're more invested in if you get to watch the game. Like, there's times where, like, I don't have a player going, but John will text me, like, oh, man. So I end up start rooting either for him or against him. Like Antoine will text me, like, bro, I got this, and Brian has this, or whatever.
Well, for me, a lot of times it's the 4:00 games, like West Coast, and they'll have like San Diego, Arizona, which I don't give a fuck about.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of watching the other game that's like San Francisco, Seattle.
Yeah.
And I do care about that. And then finally, like the San Diego, Arizona game ends. I'm like, thank God. And they like bonus coverage. I'm like, thank you. And then all of a sudden, boom! I see my tight end grabbing it and whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm like, oh, thank God I get to watch my player rather than like refreshing, trying to watch the score, the cut in. I'm like, will you please play the game I want to watch?
Well, you bring up a good point with the 4 o'clock. It's also the same with like if you end up having a close game and you have players in the Sunday night prime time or the Monday night football game.
Yeah, it's always good to have Monday night players.
Then you definitely get to watch the game, and it makes it exciting because it's come down to the wire.
Yep.
So we've each had plenty of those.
Especially if you're in like the chip. I love both. If I'm in the chip, I like me and my opponent having a Monday night player.
Oh yeah,
and us being close because that's the most intense.
That's the most intense.
Now I hate it though. Like when I'm up by 3, and they have a player, and I'm like, I'm probably gonna lose.
Yes,
like they only gotta get 3 flipping points.
Yes, and they have their running back or something.
Yeah,
like,
but all of a sudden, sometimes it gets exciting because it's like. He's been stuffed. He's got 3 yards, and you're like, oh, it's the fourth quarter. And he's done nothing.
Yeah.
He's done nothing.
They're shutting him down.
Yeah, and then they get into, like, pass mode. I'm like, yes, pass the ball, but not to the running back.
Yeah. Those are the most exciting because you thought you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Then it turns out.
The other guy was so cocky thinking he's going to win. Like, there's no way he's not going to get me 3 points.
And trust me, we've seen that plenty of times, too.
And he's finally scrounged himself to, like, 26 yards rushing or something, and you're like, oh my God, get 4 more yards. Like, at least tie the SOB and we'll figure it out.
When you're on the flip side, I'm like, come on, you need just 3 more yards and you go over that benchmark to get the extra point.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
Give me
or if it's a receiver, like, throw it to that guy. Like, say you have, like, Devontae Adams, but for whatever reason, they're just, like, really shutting him down. So Rodgers is throwing to, Scantling or whoever else.
Yeah.
And you're like, throw it to Adams only needs 1 reception, literally.
Yeah. I hate being the person that has the receiver, but you have the quarterback.
Yeah.
So say I have Adams and you have Rodgers, and I'm like, everything he does is going to get him both points, and then obviously Rodgers is going to get more just by passing to other people, not Adams.
Spreading it around.
Yeah, so it's like, gee, but that is where it helps with the 25 yards is a point for a quarterback. So that does help even it out a bit, but it's still a headache. Like,
it's still a headache.
God dang it.
In your example, I'd much rather be the Rodgers than the
Devontae Adams. Yep.
Because of what you just said.
Now, how do you feel about fractional points?
I'm not a fan of them.
I never was, but I'm getting more used to them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like, oh, you have fractions, I'm not playing, but
no,
I like whole numbers.
Yeah.
But I'm not opposed to it. One thing I don't like, I will say, as far as scoring, is I've played in free leagues, like the job, like at work, will have a free league. I'm like, I'll join, but I'm not gonna get the attention that I give my money leagues. But I've had some of those where like the final score is like 258 to 242.
Yeah,
not because
scoring is
went off. It's just that's normal scoring. I'm like, why is it so high?
Well, I think when we first started, like, and it has gotten higher since then, like how ESPN or whoever set it up.
Yeah,
I know, like. I remember like 120 points was a pretty good ass game.
Hell yeah, it was.
And then like 150 was like, oh shit. And they've even flirted with 200. You're like, amazing.
Yeah.
Now I think those have inflated automatically over the years.
Yeah.
And we've kind of let it slide because I know for years we would adjust it back.
Yes.
We'd had it kept track of, and we'd adjust it back to how we had it, so it was always the same type of scoring.
Yes.
But now I think over the time or starting new leagues and ending them, we haven't adjusted as much. So it's like. Not as crazy to get like 200-point games or this or that.
Right.
But I think you get used to it depending on what league it is, though, that you know what.
And
it takes a couple years for you to figure out what's a regular scoring game and what's a high scoring game.
Yeah, ultimately you do.
Yeah.
That's just my.
But the fractionals, I get it because like it's less likely to tie because you got things.
That makes
so
it fun.
I get that. But
I lost
like,
by 0.1.
But for me, and I was like, because I always told Andy because he's pro fractionals.
Yeah.
And he runs our dynasty, and I was like, I just don't like. I was like, I like being easily to keep track of what I need.
Same here. That's why I like the whole.
He always looks at me like it's not that hard. I'm like, I know it's not that hard, but it's so easy.
But it involves more thinking than.
Yeah, I'm like, if I'm at work and I glance at my phone real quick, if I have 9 yards, I know one more gets me that point.
Correct.
You know,
or if you're down 2 points and you have just your field goal kicker.
Yeah, and then I can keep track of their stuff too, or this or that. Right. You know, it's like, well, they might get a 0.5 of a freaking point and somehow screw. You know, like.
Yeah. For me, I still getting used to the fractions. So if my guy does something, I have to pause for a second, refresh. I'm like, I don't know if that's good. Obviously, it's good, but is it enough? Where whole numbers, it's I know what I need. I think, oh, yep, that got it right
it's
there
just
for
something.
me.
It's ease, I think. I mean, I'll get used to it, and it's not that big of a
Yeah,
deal.
it's not the end of the world to me.
It's the ease of math,
right?
to just do it real quick, and I see what's going on in front of me. But
it takes less. It makes it less thinking.
Yeah, and that's what I'm about.
Yeah, me too. Especially when I'm watching the game. Like,
yeah, I'm a simpleton.
I'm good at math.
I don't want to
like it. So.
I don't want to over. I'm not good at math, but I just don't want to have to overthink anything in general. Where I'm like, want this as easy as possible.
Yeah,
and you're putting too much into it.
Yeah, but like you said, that's not an end thing for me. Like I'm definitely get used to that. It's like it is what it is. I just have to refresh. Like it almost makes it more exciting to a degree, I guess, because I don't know. I'm like, is that
refresh?
Yeah, and you see you're down 0.2 instead. I'm like 0.2. I thought that was enough to get me over the.
Yeah, like what do I need now? A yard, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, but no, it's definitely exciting. I've done other fantasy sports, but football is only really where it's at.
I've done basketball, baseball,
and I've won in baseball at least. I feel like I did. I don't know if I won in basketball, but I was in the chip. I think once upon a time.
We tried basketball again.
We've done it 3 or 4 times,
but COVID stopped it. Remember that one?
Yeah, but I feel like there was one year I was at least in the chip, and it might not even been a league with you.
Yeah, we have done at least one other one together for basketball, but I think you did one where I didn't.
I did one with like a work buddy.
Yeah.
So.
And we done baseball together and not together as well.
Yeah, I've even done hockey.
Have not done hockey.
And I've done NASCAR.
Definitely done. No.
NASCAR was random because that was with Tom Domino was in it.
Oh my good! I forgot about Tom Domino.
Super
was
old
he in the
school.
original fantasy football?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I know him. There was a buddy I worked with named Mike at back when I was Photo Lab.
Right.
He was in it because I remember he talked crap to Julie, which was hilarious because he didn't know it was a chick, and he said some real foul shit. Yeah. And then I told him the next day coming to work, he's like, "That was a female." Yeah. And I was like, "Yeah, it's cool." He's like, "No, it's not." He's like, "I should have been saying that stuff."
It makes it funnier for me.
Yeah, it was. I was like, it was hilarious for the rest of us that knew.
Oh yeah, when you know, you're like.
Yeah. I was like, in your defense, she didn't read the shit. Like,
yeah, she has no
she wasn't
idea.
paying any attention to that. She was
no
oblivious. I was like, but it was hilarious to us.
That takes me back to the early days too, where you had to put one of our females in it usually.
Yeah,
just to fill in the full number.
And one of the classics too was when Dunn was like, "No one better draft Witten."
Yep, that's when I was
Julie
thinking
was like, "Is Jason Witten available?"
Yeah,
and you hear Antoine chuckle like,
his typical Antoine laugh, and then we all.
And you're like, "Yeah, he is." She's like, "Okay, I'll take Jason Witten." And we all looked at Dunn because he just said, "He's like, anybody try to take him, I'm throwing hands."
Because at that point we knew that was his boy.
Yeah, it was a joke. He's like, I dare someone to take him, something like that. You know, being like Dunn, joking around, but he's the biggest dude in the room, so he's like, "Oh, I'll beat somebody's ass," you know.
And then the female
paying no attention, not even him talking shit about it, just oblivious.
That was the year where she was doing something else, and they're like, "Julie, you're up," and she's like, "Is Jason Witten?"
And we're all like, "Yep."
Yeah, like, yeah, do it.
Like, please take him, please.
Which is funny because speaking of the drafting, we also kind of got used to each other. Where, dude, how many times have like one of us picked the guy that we were about to pick?
Yeah, because we
know.
Like,
come on.
I'm like, he'll probably take this guy. I better get him now.
Especially in the playoff one, I noticed in the last few years, like since we do ours via text on top of it, I'm sitting there waiting. I'm like, oh, I won't get this guy, and then Antoine's pick comes in, and it's my guy. I'm like,
damn it,
come on, you ruined it for me.
Yep.
Then I'm like, well, I don't get this guy, and then Brian picks. I'm like,
yeah,
you guys know we know each other too much.
That shit was intense. This year went down to the last minute.
Yeah,
the draft. And I remember I was in the shower and I'm trying to keep track of the dings, but of course you guys went off the side rail and started talking shit to each other or something dumb. And I'm like, damn it, I was keep track of the dings.
Yeah,
like, I knew I had
dings off.
Yeah, I know I had 6 text message dings until like I was up again.
That was the one where we were trying to, for some reason we were going to start at 9:00 instead of just starting it.
Yeah,
and you fell asleep.
Yep,
and I'm like, there's no way. If he's asleep, it's over right now.
Yeah.
We have to wait. And then all of them.
But I came out at 2 a.m. randomly with my pick.
Yeah.
I woke up and I was like,
you came with your pick.
Draft.
And you're like, thanks, guys, for making fun of me. Because everyone, of course, went on their tangents.
Yeah.
And
thanks for talking shit, but I threw my guy out there.
Yep. Because I remember waking up to it. And I think I was after you or something. Because I got my pick in.
So you threw it out at 7 a.m. or whatever.
Then we had to wait for a little bit for everyone else to wake up. And then
like,
Chris
shit.
ended up being like at some playground or something, and he's
Yeah.
like, I'm here. I'm like, good for you. Put in your pick.
Yeah, I don't care where you're at.
Yeah, the game's about to start.
Yeah, we don't have time to wait for you're done with your family time.
Right.
Get a pick,
Let's
damn it.
get this over with, please. That's where I realize I'm a very impatient person. Is
Yeah.
when we do those drafts via text, because I sit there like, because I'm writing them down, being a commissioner as well. I'm like, come on, just submit your damn pick.
Yeah, but I remember having to close the next day, and I'm just getting ready. Like, will you
Yep.
guys hurry up? Because I was
Well,
like, I'm about to drive.
You sidebar me like, if they don't do it, I'm not going to be available. I'm about to drive.
Yep.
Because that's when you had a decent drive, too.
Yeah. It was
Right.
like solid half hour. So and I was
Right. And you're like, I'm going to go ghost for a while. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm trying.
yeah, but I did leave early. I was like, I'm gonna leave early enough though, so when I get there, I can draft it.
Yep.
I don't have to walk right into work. But
And
that
then
was
it's
I
over.
was like, but I got to be there, so I want to make sure like.
The nice thing is the last 3 picks all were different positions, and then in playoff fantasy you only get it's very explicit who you
Yeah.
get, and so it's like all you 3 submit whoever.
Whenever you can text it,
You
'cause,
need a
yeah.
quarterback, you need a running back, you need a wide receiver. Just
Throw who you want. It's different picks. You don't have to wait on the next guy.
I think Chris was the last one to submit his, and he was technically the third to last if we went the normal.
But it didn't matter because he's the only one that needed a wide receiver or
Correct.
whatever. So obviously none of us were going to pick his player.
Correct.
So yeah, no. So we're getting around the 55-minute mark. So I guess we rambled on more than I thought we would.
Yeah, I think we're just excited. I
I'm
love
excited for
football.
fantasy. Yeah, and so we're definitely do a recap of our draft.
Yeah.
We didn't want to give away too much with the dynasty to each other or to anybody else that would listen.
This is literally just BS because we were reminiscing about it anyways. And we're
But
like,
yeah.
let's just record this.
But no, excited for fantasy in general. Legends League's definitely possibly in the making. So
Yeah, the Legends is possible. We have the Dynasty coming up. We have our usual coming up. FanDuel, Pick'em. Stay tuned for NFL Pick'em.
yeah,
That's going to be a lot of fun. I'm ready for the real season, just because even before any fantasy, any Pick'em, growing up, football was my sport.
Yeah.
So, and then I love fall. So,
yeah,
best of both worlds.
That's me too. I'm trying to get rid of summer. I'm over it. I hate
Right.
the summer. Hate the summer.
Hey, it's supposed to be 90 this
I
weekend.
know, that's what I'm saying. I don't even I hate that.
Yep.
Why? Who likes the summer? Jesus.
Yep, it's too
So
hot.
But that's all. So we did pretty good.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm looking forward to it.
So I guess we're done.
I think we're done. Are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done.
All right,
All right. See you next time.
later.